This man is forced to live on a deserted island. But with such a hot girl around, he didn't feel lonely. The two acted as if they were a couple. But just a day ago, they were strangers. The movie I'm going to introduce to you today is called 3. The woman named Jenny rents a yacht with her husband Jack and their friends. They come to the middle of the ocean to have a party. Everyone enjoys the view and the wine and has a great time. Disaster soon strikes, and a fire breaks out in the cabin for some reason. The fire spread quickly with the sea wind. The captain had to order to abandon the ship and take the lifeboat to escape. The ship exploded just as they got into the lifeboat. At night, they were caught in a storm. After a few struggles, the only one who survived was Jenny. Fortunately, she was washed to a deserted island. When she woke up, there was no living thing in sight. With the scorching sun directly overhead, she could only hide under the wreckage and wait for rescue. Suddenly, Jenny found someone floating nearby. She quickly swam to rescue and laboriously pulled back to the shore. She found that the man was the captain, but he seemed to be dead. Crewman Ricky suddenly appeared. Any first aid measures were no longer effective. As night fell, it rained heavily and Jenny was shivering with cold. Ricky took off his shirt and hugged her to keep warm. After dawn, Ricky began to work while Jenny was still sleeping. With excellent water ability, he put on his goggles and dived smoothly into shallow water. A conch bigger than his hand was their breakfast today. Although Jenny can't accept raw food, but Jenny also had no other choice. Unlike Jenny's eagerness to wait for help, Ricky felt that living was enough. They used trash from the sea and branches from the deserted island. Built a poor house, at least keep them from the sun. Jenny is also getting used to this kind of deserted island life. She even took off her bikini and swam with Ricky. When they went ashore, Ricky teased Jenny about her attractive body and sexy ass. Jenny was not angry. After all, they had slept together. Ricky has excellent diving skills and is constantly looking for food at the bottom of the sea. Today, he swam to a reef with a homemade harpoon on his back. Found the lobster he had missed for a long time. As soon as he surfaced, a man moaning in pain appeared in front of him. Ricky took the man, who was still alive, back to the camp. And this man is Jenny's husband, Jack. When he was washed onto the reef, he thought he was dead. Unexpectedly, he was not only saved, but also saw his wife again. Watching their sweet behavior, Ricky suddenly felt a little lonely. After a night of rest, Jack felt much better. But when he saw that Jenny was wearing a bikini and Ricky was topless, Jack was jealous to see them laughing and talking together. When they came back from catching fish, Jack used a lighter to light up a branch and showed off. Then he and his wife behaved intimately, deliberately made Ricky jealous. Although it looks peaceful on the surface. But Jack was quite resentful of Ricky's presence. Seems to have completely forgotten that he was rescued by him. He first blames his wife and Ricky shouldn't live together like couple. Then he questioned Ricky. They were all survivors of the shipwreck. Why did he carry swimming goggles with him in advance? Did he cause the disaster? Because of these suspicions, a war may break out between Jack and Ricky at any time. While Ricky and Jenny went fishing, Jack took Ricky's things and moved them under the abandoned boat without permission. Jenny was very dissatisfied with this kind of behavior. She repeatedly explained that nothing had happened between her and Ricky. Jack shouldn't have treated his rescuer like that. But the narrow-minded man was unconcerned. Jenny had to go over and apologize to Ricky. Jack followed, mocking their relationship. Ricky broke out completely this time. He told Jack to find his own food from now on. And Ricky wouldn't use Jack's cigarette lighter to make fire anymore. The two men went their separate ways. Jenny, who had no choice but to live with her husband. Apparently, Jack had overestimated his ability to catch any food. He caught a crab very hard and suffered from diarrhea. In the end, the couple had to dive into the sea together. They groped under the sea like Ricky and finally caught a conch. On the contrary, Ricky was always full of harvest. There is not only fresh fish, but also excess fish can be dried. Unwilling to admit defeat, Jack continued to enter the water in search of food. Jenny was so hungry, had to ask Ricky for help. Rich was still full of resentment, but he generously gave her fish. The well-fed Jenny found Jack swimming back and wiped her mouth. A few days later, the war between the two men was finally fought. When Jack found Ricky stole the fire in front of his house, he rushed over and scolded him. Ricky also did not give up, grabbed a wooden stick and began to fight back. The two of them just wrestled together. Jenny has been trying to persuade the quarrel to no avail. In the end, Ricky grabbed the harpoon and became the winner of the battle. But Jack took the Ricky's fish as a punishment. The next morning, Jack stole Ricky's goggles for diving and catching fish before they woke up. Using the sharp harpoon made by himself, Jack caught a lot of food this time. When he returned with great enthusiasm, he felt that the atmosphere was a bit strange. Ricky didn't blame him for stealing the goggles. Jenny also looked preoccupied. Sensitive Jack soon sensed that something was wrong. Under his questioning, Jenny finally told the truth. When Jack found out that the goggles were stolen, he was furious. He grabbed a harpoon and tried to kill Jack. Jenny didn't want her husband to get hurt, so she desperately tried to stop Ricky. Then they slept together on the beach. When Jack knew the truth, grabbed Jenny's hair and threw her into Ricky's house. The couple went their separate ways from now on. Jack moved deep into the woods and tried to change the situation with his own efforts. He made his own goggles out of plastic bottles and discarded rubber. In his continuous underwater exploration, he found a ship. There was only a hole in the bottom. Jack decided to bring it back for repair. Jack did not inform them, but took great pains to pull the boat out of the water, and refused Jenny and Ricky's help. A few days later, Jack repaired the boat. While he was fishing, Ricky planned to steal Jack's boat. He woke up Jenny, grabbed the boat and dragged it to the sea. At this time, Jack, who had surfaced, also found out what they were doing. Immediately ran towards the side, but it was too late. He could only watch the two of them leave by boat finally. When he saw that they were farther and farther away from the beach, Jack turned around and smiled. Even leisurely sat down and drank coconut juice. On the sea, the boat suddenly began to leak. It turns out that Jack did not fix the boat at all, but also deliberately let them steal the boat. The purpose is to let them drown in the vast ocean. They tried hard to fix the boat, but failed. They could only swim back. By this time, Jack had set the hut built by Ricky on fire. A few hours later, the exhausted Ricky and Jenny finally walked onto the beach. Jack stabbed Ricky with a harpoon when he was out of strength. He also tied Jenny to his side as a trophy. At night, Ricky attacked Jack. Jenny also tried to break free and help Ricky. Finally, Jack almost set himself on fire and the fight stopped. The next day, Jack went crazy and had to kill them. Ricky was badly injured and had to keep running away. Unfortunately, Jack found him. After a fierce struggle, Ricky was unfortunately killed by Jack. A year later, passing tourists found sleeping Jenny. She was overjoyed and did not tell anyone that Jack was fishing far away. Before leaving, Jenny also took Jack's cigarette lighter. Lucky Jenny, sitting in a boat, is about to leave the deserted island finally. When Jack came to the surface, Jenny did not tell anyone, just quietly watching him from the beginning of the excitement to anger to despair. The boat was getting farther and farther away. The roar of the motor drowned out his cries for help. Jenny on the deck, smiling at the desperate Jack. Without the cigarette lighter, Jack now has to live a primitive life alone. If they had been able to live together in harmony, maybe all of them can live together this time. If you like my story, please don't forget to click subscribe. See you next time.